Hair is just the worst. As you know, there are 5 types of hair: bald, slicked down, normal, feathered, and windblown. Only the first 2 don't present problems when making selections in Photoshop. Let's talk about a workspace that will help us manage hair. It's called Refine Mask. You can start with a selection already made using another method, such as object selection, quick selection, or the magic wand. And then you go to the options bar and press Select and Mask. Or you can create your selection entirely in this workflow. From the Layers panel, click on a mask, and then from the Properties panel, select Select and Mask. So what's involved in the Select and Mask workflow? Well, first, there's the properties, view and transparency. Those don't affect the actual mask at the very end. It's simply for adjusting how you're evaluating the mask quality. There are also some tools on the left-hand side of the screen. There's a quick and an object selection and brush. And those are for adding or subtracting areas. And they work similar to the selection tools that you've used before. In addition to that, there is a tool that's exclusive to this workflow called the Refine Edge Brush. And this is the magic formula for getting good selections of hair. What this does is it identifies areas of transition. That's where the hair and the background are sharing a pixel. So those are areas that will be semi-transparent. They will not be completely see-through and they won't be completely opaque. So that's the part of the mask that is tricky. This tool helps identify those areas so that Photoshop can apply the proper processing to have that piece of hair not show up with a halo. This workflow that I'm demonstrating for you was created by Russell Brown, and he coined the term areas of transition to refer to areas where the subject is not completely opaque. So the first step is to create a rough mask made up of all fully opaque areas of the subject. And this will probably look weird when you get to the hair. So don't worry about that. Just make sure that you're only selecting areas that don't have any of the background showing through the hair. Next, you create a refined mask by identifying areas of transition using the Refine Edge brush. Then you can create a decontaminated layer to eliminate background color for good. Normally, you would do this if you're putting your object with hair on a different layer that has a much different background than it originally came from. If you're going from one light background to another, generally you don't need to do the decontaminated step. But sometimes it is helpful if you're going, for instance, from a lighter background to a darker one, just to help remove those halos. And this kind of helps override the effect of the original background colors. It's not perfect. However, for 80% of the cases, this works great. So the next step, once you have your mask, is to test it. And you probably want to put your subject on a different background. a landscape or a solid color or a gradient.